Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diver Magazine channel. Now I know a lot of you have been looking forward to this one. I finally have my hands on the new Seal SL01 Drysuit. So the Seal Drysuit was created as part of the X-Deep Exploration Support Program, which was made to support exploration, research and marine conservation projects around the globe. Seal and X-Deep are connected brands, they're basically sister companies, and where X-Deep were creating new dive gear like the Stealth and Project Wing BCDs, they needed an exposure protection suit that could keep up with them. The SL01 Drysuit was created together with the members of the exploration teams and tested in the most extreme cave conditions with inspiration from combat divers as well. The SL01 was made to be both lightweight and tough, which usually don't go hand in hand. It's usually heavy and tough, or it's lightweight and a little bit flimsy, but Seal have managed to pull it off. SL01 is a membrane front entry dry suit, but it has unique tailoring that makes it easier to don and doff. Sometimes a front entry dry suit can be a little bit tricky, especially to get it off, but they've cracked it with this one basically. It still has a telescopic body, but it doesn't require as much overlap around the waist as a traditional front entry because of how they've located that zipper. The overall tailoring was designed from years of working with combat divers who needed suits that they can don and doff very quickly, as well as have a full range of motion, especially in the shoulders. So that's why it's particularly good for us scuba divers. The combat divers, they needed it to swim and move around. We as scuba divers, of course, need plenty of movement around the shoulders without too much excess material. One part of this is in the zipper placement. Instead of the zipper being placed quite high up on the shoulder and then low down on the waist, which leads to the shoulder straps and the waistband of your BCD pressing that zipper into your body, which can be uncomfortable, especially on longer dives, Seal move the zipper over your shoulder and then up your midsection, which helps to prevent that interaction with the straps, and it also makes it a little bit easier to don and doff the suit. The auto dump on the shoulder valve is also a bit further down your arm. That again is another thing inspired by combat divers. Their dry suits tend to be more towards the elbow. Because it was made with recommendations from cave divers and explorers, key sections are made from super fabric that has hard resin dots for cut and abrasion resistance, because they're scrambling around and they're always bumping into things. So they wanted some harder, more abrasion and cut resistant areas. And other unique features on the arms are interesting to see. The first is a huge pocket on the right upper arm. It's zippered and it's flat to go around your bicep, but you have extra storage space for whatever you need, and a Velcro patch section as standard so that you can help represent and stand out in the water. You also have two strips of Molly style webbing down each arm as quick attachment points for bolt snaps or whatever, and anchor points for your dive computer straps. Now, I've seen divers mount line markers on bungee between these. Whatever you can think of, if you need to just quickly attach something so it's close to hand, you have some of these rows of quick attachment points. Moving down to the thigh pockets, we have twin Velcro pockets with a small zippered quick access pocket that you can just grab small handy things like an extra double ender. Inside of the actual pocket itself, you have several anchor points and D-rings to clip things securely inside, and on both sides you have a thin open section between your leg and the pocket itself for your wet notes or slates. Most thigh pockets have a separate internal pocket inside of it so you can organize things. This one just eliminates the need for that and just has space between the pocket and your actual leg. The pockets themselves have been designed to naturally sit flat against your leg, so when there's nothing inside of it, you're nice and streamlined, but they then bellow and open up so that you have tons of space inside when you need to store bulkier objects. And another patch location on the outside if you're into your patches. And one nice feature that I like is that the dry suit has two pairs of hanging hoops, one pair behind your shoulders on the outside and a second pair inside of the suit by the elastic braces, so that you can hang the suit up easily without risking damaging the suit by hanging it awkwardly. Seal were very conscious of allowing a quick and easy way to hang the dry suit up without a dry suit hanger. So they actually fitted these loops, and it just makes your life a little bit easier when you're hanging up your dry suit. The SL01 is only made to measure. They don't make small, medium or large suits. Each suit is specifically made to your exact measurements, and that makes each suit bespoke to you. The main body is made from a nylon polyester trilaminate with a sealed butyl layer, which is called Ferguson Polycom fabric. The shoulders and the upper arms use Cordura 500 D-Tex, and the forearms and the shins are made from that cut resistant and wear resistant super fabric. Each seam has chloroprene tape with 3 layers of glue, and the whole suit itself weighs around 2.7 to 2.9 kilograms depending on the configuration. When you're building a suit, you have all of the normal choices when you're building a new dry suit. With the neck seal, you can choose your silicone, latex or neoprene. This one, for example, has neoprene. The wrist seal, silicone or latex. Socks or boots. The zipper, you can have a plastic T-zip, the Master Seal 10, or a Dynat G10 metal zipper, depending on your preference. The plastic is a bit more flexible, but the metal is a bit stronger. Cytec or Apex valves, with the option to fit an Apex P valve as well if you're going on really long dives. But before we take a really close look at the SL01, let's see how it arrives and what it comes with. This is how it arrives. It comes in its own dry suit bag, seal on the front. It actually has some like size, serial number and diver name on the back, so you can fill out your details, so you make sure you're grabbing the right dry suit if more than one of you has one. It doubles up as a changing mat, so if you're somewhere with a lot of gravel or something, you don't want that inside of your dry suit, you can unzip it. It folds out flat, and yeah, you can get changed on top of it. Grab handles so you can carry it around. Is a traditional dry suit bag. Double zipper. And then on the inside, now exactly what you get with the dry suit depends on what you order with it. As standard, Seal kind of assume that you already have a hood because you tend to collect hoods depending on how many dry suits you have. So you can order one with it, but it doesn't come as standard. The same with a dry suit hose, that they assume that most divers have their own dry suit hose. But yeah, you can order one and it can come with the suit if you so wish. As far as accessories, it comes with a little Ziploc bag. It's got some zipper lubricant, actually 2 zipper lubricants, a dry suit valve operation manual. This one has both Apex and Cytec valves on it, so they give you appropriate literature, information about the zipper, and a dry suit owner's manual with just information on the features, the use of the dry suit, how to fit it, how to put it on, take it off, and all that kind of stuff. So have a quick read through that, and then you get the dry suit itself as ordered. Yeah, let's take a closer look. Right, so this is a dry suit, so and it's got lots of features on it, so get yourselves comfortable. There's lots of little things to point out. Let's just start from the top and work our way down. So this one is a neoprene neck seal. You can pick and choose between latex, silicone and neoprene, and yeah, it's a neck seal basically. Underneath that you have a neoprene sort of seal guard that goes over the top of it, but this is quite interesting. So most dry suits nowadays have this section of neoprene that just covers up the neck seal. That has a few benefits. The first one is that you can tuck your dry suit hood underneath it to slow water from flushing into the hood itself. It also protects the actual seal itself from wear and tear, especially from your BCD shoulder strap, so it's not rubbing on the delicate material. But on the SL01, it highlights one of the clever features of this reinforced shoulder section, and that is that it's actually separate layers. So you have this external shell of this reinforced material, and then you have an internal shell which continues up from the body. So it's a dual layer all over most of your chest and your shoulders, so that again it's just doubling up protection, and that continues at the back as well. So yeah, you have this real reinforced separate external shell. It's like a BCD bladder, a technical wing that has that external shell and an internal bladder that's actually doing the work, and you have this external protective layer. Moving down from that over to the shoulders, so the first thing that you notice with the Drysuit zipper is that it's really far over your shoulder. So it starts off sort of on the side of your shoulder and then continues down to quite high up on your hip, or even on your waist basically. So it's a bit more horizontal compared to a lot of front entry zippers, and that it just makes it a lot easier to get in and out of it. It has a protective outer zipper and then a separate actual dry zipper underneath it. In this case it's the plastic T-zip, so it's more flexible and it's a bit lighter as well. On the chest, just offset to the right ever so slightly, you have in this case, an Apex inflator. You can also have a Cytec inflator fitted if you prefer. And on your left hand arm, I suppose we should say, you actually have, in this case, a Cytec exhaust valve. So this is an auto shoulder dump on your arm. Normally they're fitted a lot higher, but as I said, combat divers, they tend to prefer them a bit further down, so they've put it there on the outside, and yeah, it's still quite practical there, and it gives you nice control over venting any gas on the inside. On the right hand side, you have a SEAL logo patch on there. Underneath it you have that Velcro patch if you want to, if you're feeling particularly patriotic, or if you have a name tag that you can Velcro onto that. And below that you actually, or underneath that, you have this zippered section on your arm. Has a section of bungee, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't really like bungee in this case when they're on pull toggles. I'd probably swap that out. But it does the job. I just don't like that kind of give. It's just a personal thing. And it has a little toggle as well, so it gives you something to grab hold of if you're wearing clunky gloves. And this is a really big pocket. It has an attachment point on the inside with a solid loop again, so you can grab hold of something. You can clip off a bolt snap onto that and then just stow whatever it is on the inside. And that's a really big pocket. It goes all the way around behind your bicep towards your triceps. Plenty of storage space in there. Moving down the arm, on this side, here's where it starts off, that molly strip that goes all the way down to the wrist. You have two of these, one there and then a shorter one on the top side, and they're varying widths. So some of them are about 1/2 inch across, others are a good inch, maybe 1.5 inches across. So for attaching bolt snaps, for threading your dive computer straps through here, it's a real good anchor point to attach things quite quickly, but they're quite close to the actual sleeve itself, so they're very unlikely to snag up against something. And on the elbow and the forearm on the outside, you have this super fabric, so this detailing is really tough and resistant, and when you're just brushing up against something, you're less likely to actually puncture the Drysuit. Moving down from that, we'll take a quick look at the inside of the Drysuit. So we have this plastic YKK zipper on the outside, and I've already undone the plastic T-zipper on the inside. Black internals. This is all of that reinforced triple glued seams, so very good and resilient, less likely to leak. And on the inside, we have our braces, or suspenders, depending on what you want to call them. You have elasticated braces. One of them actually has a separate loop, so you don't have that rigid piece of plastic in here, which can get a little bit annoying, but it allows that crossover and stops them from separating. But also, attached into those anchor points, you have these two little loops that most people might ignore, but these are so that you can hang it up from the waist, just so that you can air out your dry suit when it's actually open. And that's a nice little feature that I do like about the dry suit. Zipping it back up again and then going down to the crotch and the thigh pockets. So starting off with the thigh pockets. So these, as you can see, they naturally hold themselves quite close to the body, close to your legs. And if you actually open it up, you actually have plenty of space inside of here. They really do bellow out. So lots and lots of space, but if you don't have anything inside it, they're not flapping around on your thighs. They just really fold down really neatly and flat. On the outside, on the actual flap itself, so you have a rigid section on the inside. Usually they just use a section of bungee, but it doesn't feel like bungee. It's like a semi-rigid like flat piece of plastic inside of there, something that you can grab hold of. Again, if you've got clunky gloves on, it gives you something to really feel for, as well as that logo. It's made in this like soft silicone material, but it gives you something to grab hold of. You have the zippered section on both pockets. Both pockets are exactly the same as far as I can tell. Again, we've got this bit of bungee, which I'm not a huge fan of, but hey, it definitely does the job. And then, yeah, decent sized pocket. No anchor points as far as I can find, but it wouldn't be too hard to thread a loop of bungee cord on the inside to act as an anchor point. So that's useful for just small little knickknacks, a cutting device, a spare double ender or whatever you can stow away inside of that. Velcro closure, so it automatically seals itself when you let go of the pocket. And then on the inside, you have 3 D-rings, 2 of these smaller plastic ones either side, 1 metal pre-bent D-ring on the middle. In the middle. Again, just gives you something to attach things onto. And there is a section of like mesh at the bottom, so that when they fill up with water, when you're getting out, they drain naturally, so they're a lot lighter. And one clever feature is, instead of having a separate internal pocket on the inside of the pocket, it's actually just in here, between the leg of the dry suit and the pocket itself. The pocket is stitched and glued, but you have this separate flat pouch, so if you've got wet notes, you can store it in there. Again, you have that on both sides, so you can pick and choose wherever you keep your wet notes, or whatever, your tables that you're diving with. You can keep them really quickly and easily, and you don't have to open up that pouch to be able to reach them. Looking at the crotch strap on this, this is a removable pinch clip crotch strap, so you can remove the entire thing if you really aren't a fan of it. It's bungee. This is about 1 inch across, and it's adjustable, but you also have that pinch clip, so you can clip it off. But yeah, if you don't want to, you can just remove it completely, which is a nice little feature. Most of them are sewn into the suit, so it's there. On the actual crotch itself, you have this big section of reinforced material. This is usually quite a high wear area, so if there are any seams down the center, they tend to wear quite a lot with all the finning, whereas a big open section of this reinforced material makes it nice and tough, and it feels like it's dual layer, a lot like the shoulders as well. So again, you're going to prevent any punctures there. Moving down to the knees, more of the super material. Is abrasion resistant, so if you're moving around, spending time on your knees, then you have that protection. And right down at the bottom of the feet, these come with the standard socks, so this is just a continuation of that material. So it's just, yeah, it's a dry suit sock basically. You wear a rock boot over the top of it, and the sock itself is what's keeping you dry. On the back of the dry suit, so over the shoulders and just at the bottom of where that reinforced material is, you have 2 more of these little loops. Now, when I first saw these, I thought it was just for the, because it was on a mannequin, and I just figured they put that on, but actually these are to hang it up so that it can drip dry, and it's a very strong, reliable area here, so it's less likely to damage it, because they found that a lot of divers were just like flopping the entire thing over a car door or whatever, and it can damage some of the seals, it can damage the zipper. Whereas if you hang it up from these 2 points, you're going to get that drip dry effect, but you're also going to sort of attach it at a really strong, reliable point. All in, I really like it. It ticks every box that I want or look for in a dry suit, and it invents some extra ones as well. Plenty of storage. Storage is always quite high on my requirements for a dry suit, because when you're actually in the water, I don't like waste pockets on BCDs and things. So having a nice set of thigh pockets is essential. You also get storage on your arm and down your forearm as well for smaller bits and bobs. I do like that feature. When I first saw it, I think the original like prototype had this like white bungee crisscrossing across it, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but the more I see it and the more you actually sort of use it, I never fit any bungee to this one that I was trying out. But if you do want to, I've seen some divers, they put some like bungee loops between them, and then you can fit some line arrows and indicators on there. So yeah, that's a convenient place for you if you don't use pigtails or something. It has everything that I look for and more in a dry suit. The dry suit itself, it does feel tough. I do like the finish and the cut to it. Very easy to get in and out of all by yourself. With some of my other front entry dry suits, it can be a little bit hard, especially when you're getting out of it after a dive. You really have to be a little bit of a contortionist to get that neck seal over, but never struggled all by myself just wearing the SL01. And yeah, lots of flexibility, but no like excess material, especially around the shoulders. So yeah, I can't really fault it. The only thing that really springs to mind is the little bungees, which it's not a deal breaker for me. It's just a thing that I've noticed. But yeah, it's still a fantastic dry suit. And that's the SL01 dry suit from Seal. It's a smart dry suit with lots of little smart, clever features that have clearly been recommended by actual divers and explorers, and it's very X-Deep, if you know what I mean. X-Deep have always been happy straying away from the traditional designs to make more practical equipment for the modern scuba diver, and the SL01 follows on from that. The base suit itself, without any extras, so you're just getting the real basics, it'll set you back just shy of 2,700 euros, which right now is about 2,300 pounds. So it's definitely up there with premium dry suits. It's not the most expensive dry suit out there, but it is definitely up there. But remember, each suit is made to measure. Unlike most off-the-rack dry suits, when you're comparing the costs, the SL01 is a made-to-measure suit, and you do get a lot of dry suit for your money. You're paying for the really nice, tough materials, the tailoring especially, so you get plenty of flexibility and movement, and you can actually get in and out of it by yourself really easily, and just the little features on the suit. The SL01 is easily in my top 2 dry suits that I've ever worn, and there's definitely going to be one on my Christmas list this year. But let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Are there any features in particular that you like or don't like? Let's talk about the SL01 down in the comments underneath this video. Remember to check out our website scubadivingmag.com and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube to stay up to date with the latest and best scuba diving equipment. And if there's any more gear that you'd like me to take a closer look at, then by all means let me know. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.